Hello, it's Keith here, and this is lesson 16 of the simple series of my 650 assembly programming tutorials. We're going to be looking this time at adding joystick control to the NES example we did before of the little smiley, and we're going to move it around the screen. Let's go straight over to the code. Let's see it in action. Okay, so here's today's example. Let's just fire it up on our NES emulator here. Now, I'm actually using cursor keys today, but I'm simulating a joystick, of course. And you can see we're moving our smiley around. And if we hit the edges of the screen, we can't go over them. We're just limited to the screen. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at. Basically, we've added some simple control to the previous smiley example. Now, I'm going to assume you do understand the previous example of drawing the tile on the screen. That was also in the simple series. If you don't, please go and have a look at that. We're going to skip over that code relatively quickly today because I don't want to repeat myself. So if you don't know that part, please take a look at it. Okay, first we're defining some 0-page entries here, and these are just for temporary variables for our program code. We're also defining an XY position for the current player position and the last player position, and we need that because sometimes when the player tries to go off the screen, we're going to bounce them back to the last good position. We've now got our header here. This is just the cartridge start here. We've got a interrupt handler here just for our VBlank, because remember we can only write to VRAM during VBlank. And here's the start of our code. We're just setting things up, setting up our palette here, turning on the screen here, turning on our interrupt handler, and we're transferring the tiles to the pattern definitions just here. And then here we are actually setting our cursor position for our player. Now we're going to have a look at the bitmap data because it has changed very slightly since last time. Let's see it here. Okay, so we had our smiley before. We've still got the smiley. It's split into two halves here, you can see. But we've now also got a second sprite which is completely blank. Well, what's happened there? Well, we've got two versions now, one to draw the smiley, and then when we need to get rid of it, one to clear it away. And we're going to use those two versions. You can actually see here we've got draw player. That's basically the equivalent of the smiley routine last time. And we've got blank player, which is almost identical, only instead of using tile 128, which is the smiley, we're using 129, which is this blank part here. So that's really basically all that's changed there with that code. So that is going to be able to draw our character and clear it off the screen. Okay, so as I say, we're defining our start position, in this case 3,3 here. And then we're first jumping over to the start draw routine. We're loading H with a dummy value of 0. Now by default, this H, this 0-page entry rather, will contain the joystick reading. But the first time, we don't want to read the joystick. Our main loop is going to wait until a key is pressed. But if we do that, we'll never see the starting position. So we're just skipping over this first iteration here with a dummy value in ZH. Now, our read controls routine is the main bit that's new this time. This is reading in from the joystick. Now, the way we read in from the joystick is we have to read in each of the controls, up, down, left, right, and all the fires, one bit at a time. And first we need to tell the hardware to start sending the data. And we do that by writing a 1 and then a 0 to 4016 here. That will start the transmission occurring. So we do that just here, and then we are going to read in one bit 0, and we're going to rotate them out of the read in data from 4016 into the H register. Now there are a total of 8 reads, and they read in the 2 fire buttons, the 2 selection buttons, and up, down, left and right here. And so we're shifting all of those into ZH here, and then they will be in ZH once we return here. So this read controls function will read in a single joystick and we'll store it in ZH. Okay, so the first iteration we're skipping over this routine that's reading in, and we're just loading some dummy values, but from then on we'll have the directions of the joystick. Now our first action here is to back up the current position of the player. Then we're going to clear the current position of the smiley. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to process ZH, and we're going to process the up, down, left and right bits accordingly. And if these are not pressed, if these directions aren't pressed, we're going to skip over a command. Now these commands are moving the Y position and the X position depending on the direction. So if we want to go right, for example, we increase the X position. If we want to go left, we decrease it. If we want to go up, we decrease the Y position. If we want to go down, we increase it. And that's what each of these is doing. So these are processing the 4 directions we're interested in. And then we're updating the stored values in the 0 page of X and Y here. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to check if the player's gone off the screen. Now 0, 0 in our coordinates is the top left of the screen. Now if they go below 0, they'll of course wrap around to 255. So we don't actually need to check the bottom coordinates of the screen to check if the player's gone off it. We just need to check the top. So we're checking if the player is above X coordinate 32 or Y coordinate 28, and if they are, then we're jumping to this reset routine here to reset the player position. Whatever happens though, we're going to end up at this position, either with the new position or reset with the old one. We draw the new position of the player, and then we simply wait a while before we redraw everything again. Of course, this draw player routine is exactly the same really as it was before. I'm not going to go into it again. We have to wait for VBlank before updating the tile map, and we've got the code to calculate things. As I say, this was all in the previous example, the simple series bitmap example, so please take a look at that. Well, there we go. So that's really all there is to it. We've got an example here of how to get a simple movable image on the screen using the tile map. Now I'm going to be taking this in the future and I'm going to be converting this and making it into my YQuest game. YQuest is a game I wrote on the Z80 systems, which was a simple game expanded on this equivalent in the simple series of that tutorial series, and it turned into a full game, and I'm now porting that to the 6502. It already works on the BBC, and I will be working on the NES version very soon. So, you know, if you want to see some proof that you can really make a game out of this, please stick around for that. You know, please like and subscribe. I would ask you, if you do like my content, you know, please like the videos, because YouTube ranks videos in people's recommendations by how many people like them. So if you like this video, please like it so it might get suggested to other people who might like it as well. Whatever you do though, I wish you all the best with your creative projects and any programming you're doing. Thanks for watching today, and goodbye.